What are we talking about?
All right, choice. Oh,
I actually wanted to put my glasses on first so that I could see that I looked okay, but Heather said I did, so it's all right.
she lied. She lied. She lied. She lied.
Yeah.
She lied. But anyway, darling, no, it's all good. It's all good, guys. And this actually is our first blab, our first serious, really quote unquote, our first serious blab. Olivia says no. Yes, it is our first serious blab. My name is Dr. Wendy Dearborn, and I am a choice expert and a coach, if you will.
Oh, sorry, Wendy. Sorry to interrupt you. You're not getting feedback or anything from me, are you?
No.
Because you're coming out of the speakers of the laptop, not my headset.
Okay.
But that's okay. You're fine?
Yeah, because Heather can hear me. Can everybody hear me? As it were, it's only Heather, so yeah. Can everybody hear me? As long as everybody can hear, Heather can hear me. So it's good. So it's good. But anyway, as I was saying, my name is Dr. Wendy Dearborn. I'm a choice expert. I am a coach. I am also an avid believer and user of the universal laws of attraction. My co-host is
Olivia Lashley from London in the UK.
Yep. And we actually have a show that's called My Life, My Choice, which is on Blog Talk Radio. And one of the things that we wanted to do was to actually bring this platform to a live stream. So we could have a live stream so people could see us. And if they wanted to engage and we wanted them to engage, we would be able to do that. So My Life, My Choice is all about you and your life and your choices and the choices that you choose to make, and recognizing that choice is the thing that builds the life that you live. The current life that you're living has actually been built on the choices that you have made. And so this is really the foundation of what the program is about, what the radio show is about, what this is going to be about, and the spin-offs from there and wherever it actually takes us. So, yeah, Liv, so do you want to tell people a little bit about yourself? No, wrong question. Tell the people a little bit about yourself. How about that? Can you hear me?
The answer is still no. I don't have an elevator speech, so I mean.
No, but okay, all right. So, what do you do?
I'm trying to figure out how to get the. Anyway, what do I do? At the moment, what I am doing is I make decorative boxes for anything really, spiritual boxes, affirmation boxes, memorial boxes, things like that. That's what I do out of wood. They're decorated. I also do the radio show with you. I am a vibrational healer. I'm a hypnotherapist, a classically trained master hypnotherapist. What else do I do? I think that's kind of it, really, isn't it?
Chef. You're a chef. Oh yeah, you forgot about the chef bit. Yeah, the chef, artist, chef, hypnotherapist, coach, and healer. So that's us in a nutshell. That's us in a nutshell. Well, guys, one of the things that I did want to talk to you about today is the power of your conscious choice. And as we move forward, as I said, this show's really about you and your choices, about you and creating the life that you want to live through the power of your conscious choice. Choice is, and a lot of people are not aware of this, choice is actually the first law of the universal laws in the laws of attraction. And many people actually don't realize this, and many people actually go through life not realizing that the things that they choose to do, even the things that they choose to think and how they choose to respond to things that come up in their life, they don't actually realize that their life is being built one choice at a time. People don't realize this. And in not realizing that, what happens is that people make choices, and they continue to make these choices and continue to make choices, and they are, I would say, trying to get their life on track. But as a result of not recognizing that they are building their life one choice at a time, not realizing this, people continue to build their lives, and it doesn't go the way that they want it to go. Thoughts, Livs?
No, absolutely. I mean, there's not a lot more that I can say to that, Wendy. I mean, that's kind of like factual. I mean, there's not a lot I can say. Yeah.
I mean, does it come to you like people don't actually recognize that their lives are truly built on the choices that they make, and they think it's an external thing?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think we are socialized to realize that we have a choice, and that we have the power to use the choices that we have. We're definitely not. I was saying to Heather yesterday, everything is very robotic, and if you actually don't go along the line of what is socially acceptable, then what usually tends to happen is you're given some sort of chemical stimulant so that you are considered socially acceptable. So no, people, I don't think in general people, I think they realize they have choices, but I don't think they realize, one, the power of their choice.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think they realize how much they can get from making a choice for themselves, as opposed to going with the flow.
Yeah, somebody making a choice for them, because this is something that I talk about frequently, that if you actually don't make a choice for yourself, somebody will make a choice for you. If you don't actually utilize your power of choice to create what you want in life, somebody is going to use you to create what they want in life, and that's a given.
I mean, you become a resource, don't you? That you become a human resource, and that's what it is. You actually, in many ways, you're actually saying, okay, well, this is what I'm here for. I'm not actually here for me. I'm here for
you. For you,
or other people have an agenda, and they're actually going to say, okay, well, this is, this person can help me or assist me to get what I want. So therefore, that's what's going to happen.
And that's actually what will happen. That's exactly what will happen, Olivia. People will use you, and they really will. And sometimes not even people will use you and not think anything about it. Absolutely have no compunction about how they use you. But that being said, I'm going to slow my roll on that. All of that's choice. You get to choose how much somebody will actually utilize you. You get to choose that. And this is what your life is all about. It's about you making choices in the best interest of self, for self. And that's what life is all about. If you don't... Go ahead, Liv.
I think most of the time people, there are people who are actually going to be manipulative and try and make people do what it is they want them to do. But I think the majority of us, if you think of like the governments and certain, organizations, we're actually anyway, I won't go down that road. We're actually the backbone of everything that they do. But I think, so I've lost my train of thought, but I'm going to continue anyway. I think a lot of people don't realize that that they actually do have a choice. They don't, even within that scenario, So what I was going to say was that,
oh, like you remember.
I forgot. People will use you, but it's not necessarily in a
bad way, malicious way.
They're just actually trying to get their needs met, and that's kind of like how they decide to get their needs met, because you're there and you're free and your energy is going. So so they're going to take it and use it.
Do you know, one of the things that you had actually said, Olivia, a little while ago, is that you mentioned, and I'm not going down that road as what you call it, conspiracy, but you know, like the agenda. Actually, you said people have agendas. Well, here yesterday was Black Friday. Yesterday, did you see that thing from Batman and Robin?
I've seen it already. I've seen it already.
Do you know that had me
It's
rolling?
right. No, it's right.
And it's filtered across. Now, instead of the powers to be allowing Thanksgiving to filter across, and everything that truly represents, they filter across Black Friday. You know, about economics.
It's financially viable, isn't it?
It's economics. But where I was going with that is, this morning I was actually thinking to myself, the power behind Black Friday is people who go out there and shop. If the people don't go out there and shop, there's no Black Friday.
But then also the power also behind it is the belief that people are inferior if they don't have this, that, and the other.
Well, that's
so
something.
It's a belief system that people have, isn't it?
And that's something that, as you spoke about a little while ago, you know, it's about the indoctrination process. If you don't have the new iPhone 6 Plus or the iPhone S, if you don't have that, then, you know, it's sort of like you're a loser. You know, if you don't have that, you're not a part of the pack. And as I always say, most people don't even know how to bloody well use iPhone 3 to its full capacity, much less move into 6 Plus. That was me. Much less that. And then what happens? No, in order to force your hand to make a choice, they do things like, I could no longer accept payments. This now impacted my business. I could no longer accept payments with the iPhone 4 because the company who I take my payments from, they had actually, you know, upgraded everything. And I'm all for the evolvement of technology. I'm with that. I'm down with that. I got that. But then it forces you to make a choice. And sometimes I don't always like being forced to make a choice. But the name of the game is, if you want to use this company to facilitate you in your business, then you make that choice, you move forward with it. And so it's like that.
It's like a lot of things that you put. I mean, because, you know, I've got my laptop and there's so many things I've had to put on it. And even when you sign the agreement, they have, okay, they're going to do this. You know, you have all this print you actually don't need, that you don't read, and goodness knows what it says. And at the end of it, you either agree or you don't agree. If you don't agree, click. Gone. You know, you're not.
You can't use it. You can't use it.
Right.
You can't use it.
You actually have to make a choice. Okay. But that's it. You say, okay, well, do I trust what the, you know, all the fine print, and say, okay, well, yeah, click, I agree. Or do you think, oh, I'll just do it anyway because I want the software.
Which is what I do. I click anyway because I need the software, because I want it. And I click anyway, because if I don't click, then I don't get to do what I want to do.
That's right.
You know, so I go with the flow.
I suppose the choice is a payoff, isn't it?
Well, that's life, Olivia. That's one of the things that we've done several shows about, the payoff and the reward. You know, life is about the choices, and you get the payoff and you get the reward. The payoff is what you are choosing to do in the hope that the reward is what you want. And one of the things that we always talk about, and that I speak about with the groups every week, is, yes, you can do the payoff. You can choose whatever it is that you want to choose. But once that choice has gone, once you have let it go, you cannot control what people, places, and things are going to do. You just can't. Because if we were able to do that, most of us would be living whatever life we felt or feel that we would be living at the behest of utilizing people, places, and things to achieve that goal. So most of us would be doing that. So that being said, the power of your ability to choose, as I've just alluded to, and you know, sort of like for anybody who's listening to this, Tiffany, thank you for joining us, and of course Heather, in listening to this is literally our first sort of serious blab. in as this is our first blab. We're seeing where it all lies, how it all interacts, you know, how it all goes. So that being said, the power of your conscious choice is something that is yours. It's yours by divine right. It's been given to you so that you can literally create the life that you say that you want to live. Now, you can, or, you know, you get all the cliche things that are out there. If you don't make a choice, that's a choice in itself. And again, as Olivia had said a little earlier, most people don't realize we're not raised, we're not conditioned, we are not taught. We're not in no shape or form given the skills to make choices for self in the best interest of self. And we're not given those skills. The crux of that matter also is what the underlying thing in there is that your subconscious self, the inner you, actually does realize what it is that you want for you. And this is why sometimes you'll find that you have this conflict, this inner conflict or this inner dialogue that comes out and you're like, where did that come from? Well, that came from inside of you. Because you really know what it is that you are wanting for you, irrespective of what's out there or the, you know, people out there or this out there that's telling you what you must have for you. You know what you want for you. Everybody knows what they want for themselves. Absolutely everybody knows. And this is one of the paradigms that we come from, and that's Olivia, myself, and Heather from Wise Inside. We come from this paradigm that you're whole, you're capable and complete. Every question that you have within you is the answer, because you really couldn't ask the question if you didn't know the answer. Every problem you have within you is the solution. You couldn't have a problem without the solution. And I know a lot of people, they'll say, well, I don't get that. The name of the game is, if you don't know what the solution is to your problem, you won't recognize that you have a problem. You have to know that there is something else that you want in place of what is going on, in order to know what's going on isn't what you want. Would you agree, Olivia?
No, I do. I think sometimes the problem is actually the solution. You know.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, what's actually going down when the proverbial hits the fan, that's actually telling you, okay, well, that's what it is that you need to do to get to where you want to go, or to get to who this is that you want to be.
All right, now elaborate a bit.
Well, sometimes I think when we see something as a problem, it's actually not a problem. It's as I, you know, on the radio show that I always say that, you know, I believe in signs, that and messages that we actually give ourselves, but it's taken from, because I think we get the messages internally on a spiritual level, let's say, but sometimes we don't listen to them. So therefore, in whatever way, because I believe we're the master of our own reality, in whatever way we actually bring it into our external world, into our reality, the reality that we can see. So therefore, that is the message that we're actually showing ourselves. So sometimes the message, the answer to the question is already there. Yeah, because what you're going through can actually be the answer to your question.
Exactly.
But it's actually just figuring out what it means, because just when you think about the conflict, you know, the mental conflict, the mental dialogue that we always have going on inside, it's reflected into our reality. You know, you think of all the things that you know, you have conflict about or you're confused about. So sometimes things don't come back in the way that you perceive it. Yeah. So just like your answer may not come back in the way that you perceive it would. And it comes back in a way that maybe you actually have to think about it. And in thinking about it as well, it kind of hones your skills. Yeah. It kind of makes you sort of like, there's a defragmentation. once when you're sort of like pulling everything together to say, okay, well, this means this means that, it's actually bringing you together as a whole.
Mm-hmm. 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 Actually, and as you said, what I like that you said was, you know, it helps you to hone your skills, which for me at the bottom line is, you know, when you actually when you make a choice, it's really important to do so from a skill level that, let me back up. It's really important to be able to make a choice and utilize your choice making skills. And when you do go through stuff, as you were saying, Olivia, when you go through it, what it does do, it assists and supports you in honing your skills. And when you hone your skills, you're actually able then to turn around and utilize that to make choices, yet again, in the best interest of self, for self. And that's paramount. That's paramount. Why, what's up, love?
Oh, nothing. I was listening, but I was looking. I'm gonna have to get used to this the camera thing. You're used to it. You've done so many of these. I'm not used to it at all. It's like, oh, okay. And then now I have a cold and I need to wipe my nose. It's one. It's like, oh, when do I do this? Time to do this.
I went out of focus. Come back. Okay, all right. Well, you know, you can always turn away. You've been coughing into the mic anyway, so it don't matter.
I was turning it off. So it must be using this mic then. Not this.
Because if you
sorry, is that a lot of noise?
No, I'm not hearing that.
It's using this mic.
Okay, right. Because you were just coughing away, and I said to myself,
actually, what I was looking down was because I was turning off the sound, and then I turn away and cough. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. You know, when you first came on, did the thing come up and say to you, "What do you want to use?"
Yes.
And what did you choose?
What was there?
Did you actually press on the little button on the side, the little arrow, to scroll down to see
the drop-down box?
Yes.
The drop-down box.
Yes.
No. Why did you? Did you?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I'm really sorry because I actually really thought I was turning the mic off every time. I have a cold, you know. I mean, I can only apologize a certain amount of times before it gets old, you know. But, yeah.
So, are you hearing me through your speakers, through your headphone?
No, that's what I was saying. No, through the speakers of the laptop.
Yeah, okay, right. Because I was hearing the feedback, and I was going to say to you, you know, you need to turn your speakers off. But I'm really glad
there's feedback, and even Heather said no, there's no feedback.
No, I could hear it. Now I could hear it, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. As we know, next time in the Dropbox, try to look for, you know, your equipment.
Yeah, you're gonna have to remind me. You know, you're gonna have to remind me.
Well, I know you did.
Yes, I'm aware of this fact. I'm aware.
Yes. No, that's all right, darling. And that's what this is all for. Getting it all sorted. But yeah. So anyway, where were we? You were saying you have to get used to this.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone goes through this. I keep looking at myself. and then I say, oh no, look at Wendy, listen to what Wendy's saying, concentrate on, focus on her. And then that's the thing of, how do you do this thing where you're always looking at the camera? You know, it's like, it's just weird, isn't it? I mean, logically, you're going to look at the person that's talking, or you look at yourself. But it's not very often you actually look straight into the camera, because it's like, I'm sorry, I'm waffling. I often wonder how like actors do their thing, or especially like people who do the news and what have you, and they're just looking at a dot.
Actually, well, seriously, what they tell you to do is to focus on a point, because we're the camera, and we've just gone totally off topic, guys, so roll with it. The camera, they tell you to look at a point behind the camera. Okay, so for me, where my actual webcam is situated, I'm literally doing that, which is wrong. It
You're
should
doing
be
what?
about.
Do it again.
I'm
Do it
literally looking up. I'm literally looking up. You are so.
again. It's funny. What do you want me to say? It's funny.
But yeah, so it's situated wrong. It's situated wrong. But I do appreciate, and as you say, I've done quite a lot of this. So
Yeah,
I can look in the camera and yada 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 yada. I don't have to look at myself. Right.
It's a fun round for me. So
yeah. But no, as first blab, it's okay. We're moving right along. Not too many technical difficulties.
yeah. Apart from me, as usual, it's always me, isn't it?
Oh God! You see, you get a choice whether or not to choose to whinge or not, because actually, up until now, we've got we have 30. What is it? Days? How many days? I moved my paper. We have, I think it is 33 days. I would imagine now 11 hours. Maybe about 15 minutes and some seconds until New Year's Eve 2015, and I had put out to the group and everywhere that I'm at, I'd put out the suggestion that in between now, which would be today, and then, which will be 33 days away from now, that we don't bitch, moan, whine, complain. We choose not to do any of this stuff. We choose not to indulge in that negative talk, that self-negative talk that we do. We choose not to indulge in gossip. We choose not to indulge in what we perceive to be negativity. We make that conscious choice to be aware of the fact that we can choose to do something different and not complaining, not bitching, whining, moaning, interrupting, and or what?
Interrupting. Is there a difference between gossiping and informing someone about what's going on? Is there a difference?
The fact that you would have to ask me if there's a difference between bloody gossiping and gossiping to me is something that is really malicious and really not needed. Really, Olivia? Malicious and really not needed. Information.
Can I have a cigarette break? Sorry, I'm ruining the show, aren't I?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. There's a difference between gossiping and and giving people information. Gossip tends to be malicious. Gossip is something that usually spreads. It really runs really out of control. The story never ever. I mean, by the time it gets to whatever, it is so blown out of proportion. Information tends not to be like that. It tends to be a bit more factual. But yeah, there's a big difference between gossiping and not. But as I said, I had thrown that out there to all my groups, to the ladies, everything, to take a hiatus really from complaining, to take a hiatus from moaning, whining, complaining. And as I said, I've been doing this. I was doing a 97-day thing, and my first hour, within my first hour, I was doing everything that I was saying that you shouldn't do. I mean, literally everything. Bitching, moaning, whining, whinging, complaining, negative self-talk, the whole 9 yards within the first hour. And it took me about 45 minutes for self to say, are you really meant to be doing this, Wendy? Are you really, really meant to be doing this? And I was like, I'm like, oh my God, no. Oops, no, wrong. And I started to laugh. And from there on, it put me in check because I put myself in check. Is that what happened to you, Liv?
Yes, definitely. Because I just similar to you, I caught myself doing it. And then it was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be doing this. But what's interesting is that now it's like I hear myself doing it. And it's not a thing where it's like, because before it was like I chastised myself for doing it. Yes. Whereas now it's like, okay, Olivia, what is this showing you? You know, this is showing you something. How does this reflect sort of like your reality? You know, what is it that's going on? So in that respect, it's actually really, really good. And what I also have noticed is that lots of symmetries.
Yes.
Lots and lots of symmetries. You know, I'll say something. I was sitting with Joan the other day, and she said, I can't remember what word she said. Within a second, they said the word on the television. You know, there's just lots of symmetries. It's like, I think it just brings you kind of like back, instead of being, I'm going to use the same word again, instead of being fragmented, it sort of like brings you back to yourself.
Back to center, because you say that, and for me, yes, definitely lots of symmetry, definitely lots of coincidences, if you will. As you said, the one thing for me that has really done is it has allowed me to have space to do something else with that energy.
Productive.
And yeah, you know, and it's not to say that I won't go into a whole bitch, whine, moan, whatever. And like you said, I don't really come down on myself like, whoa, Wens. One of the things you're not meant to be doing is that negative self-talk, like, whoa, Wens, what you do? What you talking about? Why would you do this? No, I'm like, okay, what is this about? What are you wanting from this situation? What is it imparting to you? What are you getting from it? What value? Do you need to distance yourself? What is it that you are truly wanting? What is it that it's showing you? And from there, you can move forward. And as I said, it's allowed my energy to be free, to utilize it somewhere else. And I have to say, I've been doing this for, I don't know, 60 something days or whatever.
You've been doing it for the longest, haven't you?
Yes, yeah, because I started day 97 and we're day 33. So, you know, and I would say this, let me just say this. I would say this, that there were times that I would be saying something and my sister would point out to me, are you meant to be doing that? Are you meant to be saying that? She'd be texting to me, you know, and I'm like, no, but I am, you know. And it, see, this is how that all goes, you know. It puts you in control. You get to choose. You know, you truly get to choose whether or not you're going to be like, oh my God, I never did. Or, you know, yeah, I'm going for it today. That's how I feel. So I'm going for it. Today, I choose to utilize my energy this way.
But then, go on.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, the good thing about it is, even though on that day or for that particular circumstance, you might say, okay, you know, I'm just going to bitch, moan, whine, whatever. But for me, what it does is at some point it brings me back to that same situation. And I think, okay, well, Olivia, you know, what is this about? You know, what's it showing you?
And it is, what's it showing you? And then what do you want to do with it? What do you want to do about it? You know, what do you want to do about it? You see, every minute that you make a choice to, every choice that you make requires time. And for me, on a personal note, time is one of the most precious commodities that you have. Time is truly one of the most precious commodities that you have. And every choice that you do make is, as Olivia said earlier, creating your reality. It's creating the reality that you live in. And so for me, it's really important that you are consciously aware of what it is that you are choosing in your life, and to make the time to be consciously aware so that it doesn't feel like your life is just spiraling out of control. Because as I said earlier, your subconscious self or your inner self, or whatever phrase you want to use, always has its hand or finger on the pulse beat of what it is that you are really wanting, and will always take the opportunity to direct you and to show you what it is. So when things happen in your life and it becomes something like a conflict, what you do get then is contrast and parallel. And those contrasts and parallels allow you to make a conscious choice. To make a conscious choice. And
It also shows you where you're at. You know, it's in your evolution, your spiritual evolution. It shows you where you're at as well. You know, the fact that you can recognize something means that you have to have moved past that thing to be able to
see it. Yeah, exactly. You have to have moved, and I agree with that 100%, Liz. You have to have moved past it to be able to see it, to be able to recognize it, to be able to know it. Otherwise, you won't be able to see it, you won't be able to know it, you won't be able to recognize it. And so some of the things that, or some of the concepts that you will hear as my life, my choice unfolds and evolves on Blab. Some of the concepts, I know people are like, well, no, that's not so. But yes, it is so. When you actually stop and you start to think about it, when you start to backtrack, how did you know that you didn't know something before you knew it? You know, those are the kind of questions that go through my head. You know, yesterday Heather was saying, and for everybody who's listening and who's going to listen, Heather was saying that Olivia, yours truly, my sister there, can be really deep with her questions. And we can really go there. So guys, when you're listening to this, know this is just sort of like, we're just kind of getting the lay of the land and seeing how it's all going, and that sort of thing, you know, the lighting. But it's serious business. Your life is serious business, and you are responsible for your life. Your life is about you. You have total ownership of your life. You are responsible for your life. Nobody else. Nobody else. Nobody else is responsible for your happiness but you. Nobody is responsible for your joy but you. Nobody is responsible for your sorrows and how you feel about yourself but you. Nobody can make you feel a way about yourself but you. Now, can people influence that? Yes. And influence means that you get to choose how you use what people are saying, what people are doing. You get to choose that. You truly do get to choose that. Again, as Olivia had said, we're not taught to understand that. We're not taught to, I take it back. I think we understand that subconsciously, but we're not taught to embrace that or to use that side of who we are. And as a result, we live our life externally. Our life is all about the externals. Our life is all about living on an external plane. And we don't realize that our lives are an inside job.
Do you know what? In some way, I think we actually do. On a subconscious level, I think we do. And I think that's what actually causes so much conflict within us, is because we realize that our life actually isn't external, but everything that is going on around us, everything that we are connected to on a physical level seems to be dominating our life. And I think we know on a spiritual level that's actually not how it goes. But there's a disparity between what we have been socialized or taught to believe and what we actually know to be true.
And that's I can hear my feedback, and that's a huge thing. That's a huch thing. As I said on the show on Wednesday, it was Wednesday, that our lives really are lived in two dimensions, and that's a spiritual and a physical, or an internal and an external, as you were saying. And many people, they live their life from an external perspective. They live their lives externally. And so they're always, as people say, they're always chasing this high, never realizing that they can never, ever, ever, ever experience that again. It's a one-time deal, but people are always chasing this. And as a result, people live their lives based on an external reality that in truth and honesty is something that dissolves very, very quickly. And I say this
it dissolves second by second. It dissolves.
exactly.
But I do think it's possible to achieve that, but with a different scenario.
What achieve what?
Achieve that high, but with a different scenario. I think if you're chasing the same, if you're chasing the same sort of situation,
mm-hmm.
I don't think it's possible because, as you said, you know, from second to second, things change. But I do believe that you can actually have the same high, but with a different scenario.
You can. For me, you can never ever recreate your history. Mm-hmm. It's a done deal. You can only recreate something or create something new. It can be very similar.
100%.
It can be very, very similar, but it can never, ever, ever be the same. Minute to minute, your life is changing. And when I said that your life is dissolving, literally, the coat that you bought, the coat that you had in high school.
Still in your cupboard, right?
No, mine's not. Mine's gone. The coat that you had in high school, where is it? Those favorite shoes that you had, where are they? You know, some of the stuff that you had as a child, where is it? You know, your favorite doll, your favorite this. And where I'm going with this is that stuff actually dissolves. It goes away. And for the most part, you don't even know when you have given it away. You can't even remember.
No, I agree. But you say things like your favorite coat or your favorite shoes. Okay, mm-hmm. You don't have that scenario. You don't have mm-hmm. those. But something that you will have a favorite pair of shoes now, in the now, mm-hmm. which will give you as much joy as it did then.
Back then.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. You can't have the same scenario. We're saying the same thing. You can't have the same scenario, but you can't have the same, but you can have a different scenario that will bring you just as much joy.
If not more joy. Well,
it depends on. Given evolution, spiritual evolution that you're aware of it.
Of course. Because for every choice that you make, with conscious awareness. Full conscious awareness, and for every choice that you do make without full conscious awareness, you're evolving, and you will continue to evolve.
Yeah,
you will continue to evolve.
That's something that a bit like being born and dying. That's something that's inevitable, isn't it?
What's that?
That you have choice. What exactly like what you just said?
Well, yes, and yeah. However, that being said, Olivia, a lot of people don't actually consciously, I'll phrase it that way, consciously realize that. Or with full conscious awareness. You know,
but then taking responsibility for that is a big responsibility, isn't it?
It is, because that means that you can't blame anybody.
That's right. There's no one or nothing to blame it on.
Blame but you. Yeah.
That's right.
And so when you do take full ownership, responsibility and accountability for your life, which of all the shows we did, I think there were 3 people on the show. Oh no, 2 people on that show. That was me and you, me, Olivia and myself. And that was the lowest rating I have ever had. The show was called Ownership, Accountability and Responsibility. People didn't want to hear that crap.
No.
What?
Unfortunately, Wendy, it's actually not crap, though, is it?
You know, and it's not. And the key to it is that what people don't realize is that you can't get away from it. Huh? You know, one of the things that I speak on, and this is weekly to a group of women, that I speak on, your life is all about you. Olivia spoke about cradle and the grave. I call it from the cradle to your grave. Everything in between is you. And I mean, everything is you. Yes, there are people who will come into your sphere, as they say, for a season, for a reason. There are people who will come in for a while, people who will go out for a while, for a season. There are people who will stay. All right. She's so silly. There are people who There are people who will stay, right? But that being said, it is really important to realize that your life is about you. From your cradle to your grave, everything that you do in between is predicated on the choices that you make. And I literally mean predicated on the choices that you make. We talk about ownership, responsibility, and accountability for your life. If you were in need of mouth to mouth or resuscitation, there is only so long that you could live on my carbon dioxide. There is only so long that you would be able to live with me doing chest compressions. There is only so long that you would really be able to live and function without artificial help and like a ventilator and all this sort of stuff. There's only so long that you'd be able to survive.
There's only so long
that you.
Yeah, but there's only so long that you also will be able to do that, right?
And before I turn out like you, and then I need resuscitation. So so your life is about you. It is all about you, and it's not being selfish. And that's something that people, for me, haven't sort of. I think that's something that people really need to look at. There's a difference for me personally between being self-centered and being selfish. People need to be a little bit more selfish. You need to be a little bit more about self and not fragment yourself and give all pieces away of yourself. You need to be a little bit more ish about self. Many people make choices, and this is my professional opinion. Many people make choices for themselves based on inaccurate information. And that inaccurate information comes from living life from an external perspective and not an internal perspective. Many people make choices based on an externalization of what they see. But what they don't realize is once something has been externalized, once something has been manifested, falling apart. Bloody stuff. Yeah, once stuff has been externalized, once stuff has been manifested, or for those out there who prefer once the word has been made flesh, that's a done deal. You're already moved on here, in here. So sometimes making your choices based on what is going on externally to you can really give you some disinformation, which is why we come from the standpoint of what is it that you are wanting for you. You know something, Lives? Slide your camera just slightly to your...
Do you know why? It's because I'm leaning on the edge of the chair. That's why.
Okay, all right, darling. I'm sorry. Well, no, lean away. Yeah, lean away, love. Go on, baby, lean. You're right. But yeah, it's really important again to realize that the externalization of your life isn't the only thing that you may want to base your choices on. Okay, it needs to be what you are truly wanting for yourself inside, which is why the golden question, and I know the ladies at Shade Tree, sometimes I can see them, they literally roll their eyes and look through the back of their skull. I mean, the golden question, as long as you guys are with us, you know, you follow us and you tune in, you're going to hear this week after week. What are you wanting for yourself? What are you wanting for you? Hi, Chuck. Hi, Dominique. Hi, Import. Right? Yeah. Hi, guys. What are you wanting for you in this moment? What are you wanting for you? You see, that will give you what it is, or will start the process for you to have what it is that you need to do for self. that will assist you in that process. So it's really important to start a dialogue with self. I mean, the other day I said I think I said on all the places that I'm at, you know, if you cannot provide for you, you have nothing to offer others, which is very true, Truck. If you can't provide for you, you don't have anything to offer anybody else, which is really, 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 really true. And it's important to be able to do that in order to provide for self in the best interest of self, and to provide for me, at any rate, professionally and personally, on a good foundational level. You have to truly, truly, truly know what it is that you are wanting. You truly need to know what it is that you're wanting for self. And most people, or many people, will say, you know, well, I really don't know what I want. And you'll hear me say this, and you hear Olivia say this frequently. If you don't know what you want, that's just as good as knowing what you do want. Because if you don't know what you want, then you can actually say what it is that you don't want. You flip the script, and by virtue of default, that will tell you what you're wanting. So for me, people always know what they are wanting. And therefore, this for me says that you are always able to make a choice for self in the best interest of self, so that you can show up as being, you know, the best that you can be. What do you smile for, Livs?
No particular reason. It was just thoughts going through my head. But I was actually thinking about what Chuck had said. That's not why I smiled, but I mean, I agree wholeheartedly, because, like, if you can't provide for you, then the only thing you can be is back to what we were saying before. The only thing you can actually be is a resource for other people, you know, to get their needs met. If you're not providing for yourself, you know, in a spiritual way.
And if you don't want to be, and there's nothing wrong with helping other people to achieve their goals and their desires. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, as long as you are achieving your goals and your desires too.
That's right.
You know, because when you are out of sync with self, what will happen is people will be achieving their goals and desires, and you'll be saying stuff like, I wish it was me. Well, no.
I think in anything that we do, it's imperative that it's a win-win situation.
Exactly.
You know, it can't be one-sided.
How many attempts to help others? How many attempts to help others with ulterior motives? Well, that's something that we had touched on earlier, Chuck, that if everybody has an agenda, whether perceived good or bad, everybody has an agenda, and their agenda, oh, that's okay, Chuck, their agenda is really to get their needs met. Their agenda is to create the life that they say that they are wanting. And to that end, people will use people, places, and things to do this. Now, as Olivia said earlier, it's not always maliciously done, but people will use people, places, and things to get their needs met. Now, in regard to helping other people, is Heather still with us? You can say yes or no in the chat room. Heather will tell you this, and of course my sister Olivia will tell you this. All right. I don't help people. Okay. I don't help people. I don't answer questions for you as in, what should I do? Because again, for those of you who are just joining, I come from the premise that everybody is whole, capable, and complete, and that they have every answer within them. They have all the answers within them, so that they can answer their questions and that they can solve their own problems. They have the solutions to their problems. And as Olivia had said, did you want to say what you said before?
No, I can't remember what I said before. You know that already. But what I was going to say was that, you know, if someone has an ulterior motive, then regardless of what their motive is, the fact that you are in the mix, it means that
Chuck.
You have something to actually gain from the experience.
Yes.
Because I'm a firm believer that whatever is in front of you, regardless of whether it's animal, vegetable, mineral, it's a reflection of what is going on internally within you. So if you feel someone is actually taking advantage of yourself, then you actually have to look at the way that you are treating yourself to be able to realize that is what is being shown to you. You're actually showing yourself a message. You're giving yourself a message as to what it is that you are doing to self. So in many ways, I don't agree. I'm not sure whether I am a believer as to whether someone can take advantage of you. I think you can let someone
because like I said about
but then I think you can take it up another notch where you actually, let's just say very loosely, come out the victor because you've gained something from it.
Okay, all right. Because when I said about people taking advantage of you, it's like the influence. The only way you can be influenced or be taken advantage of is if you choose it. That's bottom line. You have to choose it. And many people don't realize, they don't understand how they get into the crosshairs. And, I used to start out a talk with a women's group, and the women are displaced, they're abused, displaced, and in need of TLC. And I used to start out my lecture every week. Every week I go to talk to the women, and I would tell them point blank, I don't care what's happened to you. And I stopped doing that because their little energy, I'd see their energy like, how can you not care? And I truly, it's not that I don't care about you. I care about you because I'm here. If I didn't care about you, I wouldn't be here. But I don't care about your history because you don't want to recreate that. You can never recreate that. So what I care about is your destiny. Where are you going? Where are you going? You have chosen to allow people to influence you and do whatever with your person. And you have come to this point where you decided you don't want this anymore. You've come to this point where you've decided, I want to take my life back. And so you want to take your life back. But in order for you to do that, as Chuck had said in the chat room, you really need to have steps in place. You need a roadmap.
I think that you said something. You said like about the crosshairs. I think people actually don't get into the crosshairs on a subconscious level. I think they're always aware that there is something for them within that. Otherwise, they don't do it.
Okay, all right. So no. Explain a little bit more.
You said about people getting caught in the crosshairs, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think that on a subconscious level, the person getting caught into the in between the cross. I got distracted by Chuck's message. The people that are actually getting into the crosshairs, I think that on a subconscious level, they know there's something to be gained. Okay. But as to whether they have, I loosely use this word loosely, the wherewithal to realize that there's something to be gained is a different matter. You talk about the women at Shade Tree, the experiences they've been through. You could say those are the crosshairs, but it's taken them to Shade Tree, right? Mm-hmm. But from there, they can actually build a foundation on which they want to live their life.
Yes. Yes.
So being in the crosshairs, I always think there's something to be gained. It's as to whether we actually see it. But actually, I think even if we don't see it, invariably on a universal level, we are drawn to it anyway. Mm-hmm. We're shown it anyway. The way our life evolves, it kind of like, it's obvious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. The crosshairs too, for me, means that you've made some sort of choice that has brought you there. You just don't arrive at any point in your life. You just do not arrive at any point in your life. That just doesn't happen. That's not how the universe works. That's not how it just doesn't work like that. There is something that you have done that has brought you to the place where you are at. And as
You know,
I just
it's
said,
not.
let me just say this, Liv. Let me just say this. And I'm not condoning anything that has been perpetrated against your person, against you, your family, anything that you have suffered as a result of the choices. I'm not condoning that. But what I am saying is that people really need to realize that when you make a choice, that creates a reaction. And that reaction creates a reaction. And it's important that you realize that. Every choice you make has a knock on a reaction. What were you going to say, love?
Bloody no. No, you've already said it. You said, because you said it was you said it was a choice that they made. And I was just going to reiterate that actually it wasn't a specific choice. It was, it was a series of choices.
A series of choices.
It could have been from when they were 3 years old, but it was a continuation of choices that they made that brought them to where they were now. And, in many respects, when you think of it, an incident that you have when you are 2 or 3 years old that is relevant to a choice, to a situation that you find yourself when you are 30 or 40. It shows you in many ways how not only how powerful you are, but how, do you know what, I completely forgot I was going to say, the evolution of sort of like the way that you think. Yeah, does that make sense? Just say yes.
Mm-hmm. No, I'll just say yeah then. Yeah. Yeah, I'll just say yeah then.
It kind of like shows you that one of the things that actually does show you is that you're actually quite powerful.
Yes.
Because from point A to point B, you've been in charge all the way. So when you get to point B, I've always said it's not about beating yourself up. It's about actually acknowledging how powerful that you are, because one, you're still standing, one, you're getting through it.
Amen.
And two, you're doing what you need to do to continue to evolve. So it's a pat on the back, even though it might seem heinous, it might seem really, really hard, excuse me, but it's actually a good thing. It's a good thing.
And
it shows you how much you have grown.
And you see, that's it. It gives you the contrast and parallel of life in that direction. It shows you how you, as your own barometer, or you as your own yardstick, how far you've come, how much you've grown. I'm a huge believer, and I'm just going to segue here. I'm a huge believer in people truly acknowledging their successes. Not only their successes, but I'm a true believer in that. And not just the mental thing where you jot it down. I mean, literally where you write down your successes and whatever you deem to be successful. And one of the things that I have found with working with clients is this, and this comes from all walks of life, all socioeconomical levels, is that a lot of people will say, well, I really don't have too many successes. I don't have, too many successes, or I don't really have, well, do you drive? Yeah. Not everybody who actually went for their test achieved that. So if you want to start there and use a yardstick, you're breathing, everybody has successes. Your first apartment, your first child, the first thing that you ever recognized or remember doing for somebody else. And you did this purely because you are the type of, purely because it was not just the right thing to do, but because it was something that you wanted to do. I'm talking about any success, educational, financial, spiritual, the whole enchilada. I'm talking about all of that. And for me, everybody really needs a success journal, and you need to be adding to it daily. A success can be something like, I helped the little old lady, or I held the door and she looked at me and she smiled and she said, thank you so much. These doors are so heavy and I struggle when I come through them. That's a success for me. What about you, Livs?
It could be anything. I mean, when you were talking, excuse me, when you were talking, the one thing you've already said it was the smile. You know, just walking down the road and smiling at someone, you know, or someone smiling at you. I mean, I think that speaks volumes. I think that speaks volumes about sort of like where you are at that particular moment in time, mentally, spiritually. Yeah. And that's a success in itself. You know, someone you don't know and they're going to smile at you. I mean, you know, that's telling you, that's in many ways, it's telling you what you are putting out on a spiritual level.
Mm-hmm. 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 It's really important. It's really important. But that being said, Livs, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. This was our first blab, and really, it was a test. I had said to Olivia and to Heather that I'm going to go live with this, and we'll just let it roll. I put up, you know, my life, my choice, taking your life back, and that's really true. That's something I actually have a program that is called Taking Your Life Back. But I said I put that out there. I wanted to see really just how this rolled down for me, how smooth it was, how the equipment worked. And for me, it's working okay. Everybody can hear me. Everybody can hear Olivia. And we know that she has to do some stuff with her stuff. You know, so this really was a test. But what I would say to you is that moving forward, as you think about your life and you think about choice and the role that your personal power of choice plays, what is it that you are wanting from this power base? You know, I was in my closet and I was, you know, digging for clothes, God knows. I was in my closet this morning and I thought to myself, you know, even if your actual physical space has been taken from you, you still have the power of choice up here as to whether or not you allow that physicality to impact who you are. Something we spoke about, solitary confinement. It's ringing a bell from the show, but I can't even remember. So anyway, that being said, guys, thank you so much for hopping in. We're going to be back. And we're going to be back next week. See, Olivia never ever knows. She just hears this all on the fly. Fix your face.
She always hears, look into the camera. Yes, this is very, very true.
Oh God, look at you choosing to allow this to influence you. But no, next week we will be back and we're actually going to be talking about, and this is coming to me now, so I'm going to write it down. We'll be back and we're actually going to be talking about how to prepare or create a New Year's resolution, which I don't really believe in, and I don't believe in them because they never worked for me because I didn't actually have the skill set to put them in place. So we're going to be talking about putting your skill set into place to build what it is that you are wanting for 2016. I am of the true opinion that there are some people who can really do fly by the seat of their pants and it works well. And for the majority, that stuff don't work so well. It does not so much. It's not so good. Not so much. So it's for those who really want to create a plan of action, not even a plan of action, as Chuck had said, you know, a roadmap. And it's your roadmap. You create the roadmap. You can change the roadmap. You can change the direction. But the name of the game is to have the skill set to do this so that 2016, because as I said to Heather the other day, we were having a pep talk, I think. I was pepping and talking and she was listening. And as I said to her, you know, you need to get your arse in gear because 2016 is already here. You know, 2016 is already here. And this year for me, it went really quickly, you know, bam. I mean, it just, I blinked and it was gone. And so therefore, to be more proactive for next year, it's time to get that stuff in gear and get it in gear where it's solid. Get it in gear where there is a solid foundation, and it's your foundation. You create it, so you can change it, you can do whatever, but it's solid where you can build on it. So that's what we're going to be doing, and we'll be doing that next week. Look out, please subscribe. Subscribe to us here on, here I go now, I'm trying to get all technical now and can't see through these glasses and all of this. Yes, subscribe to us here on Blab. Look out for us. I've got a group called The Law of Attraction in Action on Facebook. You can definitely join us there. And of course, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we do a radio show on Blog Talk Radio. And it is the show's actually called My Life, My Choice. So you can join us there. And like I said, we will be here next week doing our thing.
Next week, what, Saturday?
Nah, not next week, Saturday. You know, girlfriend works. No. It won't be next week, Saturday. It will be next week. I'm thinking maybe Friday or possibly Wednesday. Maybe Friday or Wednesday. Yeah.
Well, after the show?
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah. I don't know. I have to talk to my co-host.
Yeah, right. Like you normally do. Yeah.
I have to talk to my co-host. Yes, I do, darling. I do. I just let you know. You know I love you. All right. I'd like to thank you, Heather. Thank you. Thank everybody for actually joining us. Chuck, it's nice to see you again. And yeah, until next time. And again, it will either be Wednesday or Friday of next week. That's what I'm thinking. So until next time, guys, peace out. I'm Dr. Wendy Dearborn. I'm here in Las Vegas. And you are?
Olivia Lashley from London in the UK.
And until next time, we will see you then. Peace out, sis. I'll see you later.
Bye. Love you, darling.
Love you too. Okay, guys, I'd just like to wrap up here and say thank you for listening to the show. This was our actual very first official blab. There was no sort of, I gave it a title, although it was very loose, because we have been testing out the equipment and seeing if it worked and all this jazz, seeing how it felt. Do we really like it? Do we prefer this platform? Are we going to use this platform in addition to Blog Talk Radio? Are we what's it, Periscope? Yeah. Are we Periscope people? Where is that lying? And I think we've found our rhythm and stride. We know what it is that we need to do. So that being said, we spoke about My Life, My Choice, which is what the show will be called. And we're talking about taking your life back. Your life is created one choice at a time. So create the life that you want to live through the power of your conscious choice, your conscious awareness of choice. Until next time, which is next week, I'm Dr. Wendy Dearborn. Thanks for coming in. Heather, love you, babes. Thanks, everybody in the chat room. Peace. Bye.